Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Super Saiyan Majin Slayer here. You're gonna call me Andres, or by my nickname Andy. And today I'm gonna go and show you guys some different lines of play you can do to help push past an opponent's nib in case if they hard open it going first and you end up dropping the nib on them, your own nib going second, and then also later on I'm gonna also show you a combination of if you have Gamma and Driver available to you. And then this is gonna work for this line of play if your hand is a little bit mediocre, like you didn't open up Torn Scales plus Boots or Gloves plus Boots or any combination like with a fan name aside from Greaves, like a Cloak plus Boots as well, plays through a Nibiru. But say for example you just open a Cloak plus a generic extender. Well, I'm going to show you guys how to play past or you got the read, I should say, rather, on an opponent's Nibiru, and you just want to play past it. So like I said, it's ideal if you don't have two PK names that are floating in the graveyard. And then for this line of play, we're going to utilize IP Masquerena so that we can link climb into the Rusty, since Rusty requires dark monsters for link materials. Then you can also bring out Verte and Nakanda as well if you are playing the Fusion Destiny build of the deck. Here, Rusty is going to be your fourth summon, and then you have different lines of play depending on the version deck you play. So you can go for a Rusty effect to Sun Gloves, set Shade, and go for a rank 4 play by searching out the Greaves with the Cloak, and then special summoning out the Shade Brigade and making Stain Greaves level 4 to go bring out a Time Thief for Doer. Or if you play IP and Verte, you can also dump the Torn Scales, set a Shade Brigade, search Boots, set it, or special summon out Shade, turn Shade into Link Spider, go for Verte to bait out the Nib, and then you'll have Boots and Torn Scales in the graveyard to go for another line of play. But for this instance, let's say you don't have either you don't have the Destiny build package. You set a Fogblade here in the instance where they nib you on the Torn Scale summon, because the Fogblade will more than likely fall off if you hit, say you're playing against a combo deck like D-Link, it's more than likely going to fall off, or if you're playing against Sky Striker is an example. So this way you can go ahead and special summon back out the Rusty with the Fogblade that will hit the graveyard. So it just depends on what you have in the extra deck for what kind of line of play you want to go for. Now I'm going to go ahead and rewind and show you guys what happens if you go with the standard route for just Cherubini, Dumpcraft, Seer. So that's your fourth summon already for the Seer. This is going to be your fifth summon. Cherubini is going to be your sixth summon. So at this point you're kind of a sitting duck if they nib you right here. You would have needed to open up Gloves in order to play past this, but in this instance you only had a Cloak. Hold on one second, I want to make sure I have the line of play. Alright, and then here is the Fusion Destiny line of play I was referring to, where you link climb with IP Masquerena, but in this case you set a Shade Breeding instead, and you hard open the Fusion Destiny. Go ahead and use out Ancient Cloak effects. So summon out the Boots. Yeah, so it's really important that you special summon out the Boots in this scenario first, because if you're going to do a Shade Brigadine first, and then they nib you on the Shade Brigadine summon, well, you don't have anything in the graveyard to trigger out Torn Scales to go for like a rank 3 play. So it's very important that you special summon out Boots and get in the habit of special summoning out Boots for majority of your combos. I want to say like 99% of the time you're going to want to special summon out the Boots first. I just forgot to go link off for Link Spider, but just remember to do it. And here your opponent's just going to drop the rock on you because they don't want you to get out the destroy Phoenix Enforcer. That's fine. We have Boots in the graveyard now. It's going to search as the trap. You're gonna trigger Torn Scales, pitch the trap, dump a Phantom Knight monster, dump gloves in this instance. Go for a break sword play, pop the nib. And then you just can go for different options depending on what you play, like a Time Thief or Doer, Evil Swarm Nightmare, it just depends on the matchup. Alright, now here I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the combination of if you happen to open up Gamma plus Lancia, so that way your Gamma and Driver stay on the field so they won't be banished, so you can make some use out of them during your turn. Your opponent passes turn over to you. And then yeah, just a little bit as a tip note, I've been actually playing with Gamma on my side on this format so far, and I actually really like it. I played it before, if you guys know me from my Jake Quincy's deck profile video, but lately I've been trying it out again, and it's been putting up a decent amount of work through my playtesting. We're going to go ahead and pretend we have a similar setup where we just have cloak and a generic extender. We don't have any PK names to float really that well in the graveyard currently. Remember, Candy, Birthday, Anaconda as well if you hard open the Fusion Destiny. And right here, Rusty is actually going to be our third summon, which is actually really good. And then here, we're going to set the Fog Blade instead because the Boots is going to be our fourth summon, and then our generic extender is going to be our fifth summon in this case. And we don't trigger Torn Scales yet because we don't want them to end up getting our Torn Scales banished if they drop the rock. Well, he's susceptible to being banished by his own drawback. And also another thing too is that the E-Telly can also bring out a Psy-Frame Gamma because it says a special summon a level 3 or lower psychic monster. So if you wanted to go ahead and bait out the Nib with the Verte Anaconda like I showed before in the previous example, that's an option, so then that way you don't end up top decking another Gamma when you don't need it. Let's say they nib us here in this scenario. Maybe they have like some set back row they want to keep. Go ahead, use our boots, search out a trap, go trigger Torn Scales, discard the trap we searched, dump a Phantom Knight monster, bring out the gloves. Then once again we go ahead, go into our break sword, pop the nib, and then go for one of our plays involving Evil Swarm Nightmare or a Time Thief or Doer. And they could have nibbed us there in different scenarios, like let's say maybe we went into Break Sword, have Rusty pop the Break Sword, then make our Phantom Knight monsters level 4, and then they nib us there. Or we could have just been able to do it all over again because Break Sword isn't a hard once per turn. So these are just generic rank 4s you can go for, as well in case you already hard open the Fusion Destiny, or maybe if you don't play it. But yeah, so I hope this line of play was useful to you guys. It was one that I was actually just found out about while I was playing on DV Rated the other day. And I thought that it was a nice line of play that I feel could be useful to you guys if you want to go ahead. And since a lot of people are maining Nib going first and second because it's such a high impact card, I thought that I might as well share it with you guys since a lot of people are playing board breakers like Droplets and Dark Ruler, and people want to keep Nib in going first as backup, like Insurance, for example. So I hope this video was useful to you guys. If it did, please leave a like, share with your friends, and I hope that it was useful to you guys. That's kind of the goal with all my videos, to make us all better Phantom Knight players. But yeah, that being said, peace.